that looks as it was working. Yeah, Andreas, oh, what's happening now? Yeah, I did a complete rewire of my studio, and the rack is now over there and not right next to me, and I need a longer cable for the headphones, but I hope it's working. Well, Andreas, good luck with your computer. And hello, everyone. Yeah, Sandy, I hope Neptune will play solo tonight again. Hopefully in the right key. Yeah, there he is. Hello, Neptune. Yeah, thank you, Rob. Great that you started working with Bitwig, so the stream comes maybe at the right time for you to catch some useful information. Hello, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. Hi, Sudanva. The background image, yeah, that is from the millions of space AI stuff that are generated for different purposes. Hello to Colorado. Hello to Italy, Montreal, Vancouver. Fantastic. That's great. Also people from Turkey. Yeah, Neptune is already in the mood of playing some music tonight. Please don't go on the keys, okay, Neptune? Can't work like that. Yeah, Neptune will be very disappointed because it's not really about music today. It's more about fiddling around with Bitwig. So I hope he will still have some fun. Tips and tricks how to work around a cat. Yeah, that's a very, very good idea. It's probably more interesting to see Neptune. Ah, now he's starting to walk on the keys. Neptune, what's up with you? You've had food. You've been sleeping on the couch all day, so... Ah, Erwin, thank you. I think the concert was good. Lots of work, of course. I took most of my studio to play the concert in a church. And yeah, so I spent today and yesterday to rebuild everything because I wanted to have some changes in the studio. It looks more or less the same, but I did a complete re-cabling and rewiring of everything. And so, yeah, it took me at least today to get everything back together. But the concert was good, I think. And of course, I recorded everything. So I think next week on Sunday, I will release the first part. I played 2 sets. And both sets will be released next week, I think. Yeah. Neptune is very quiet. He usually doesn't speak, even not to me, so I'm not sure if he will speak to you. I mean, he was doing things with the microphone, so maybe you have heard him already, but he's a very silent cat. The Mini Freak is a very nice synthesizer. I'm very happy that I got it. I will do a stream with the Mini Freak only soon, but first I want to really get to know it better, because it would be pointless to make a stream with a synthesizer that I'm still learning. But I really like it. It's a very good synthesizer, and also the size is very good from the table. The keyboard is quite good also. Better than the key step. I had this little key step here, and that keyboard was very bad. Yeah, so much for cleaning all the Neptune hair. Yeah, he was really obsessed right now. I'm not sure what's up with him. Yeah, thank you, Zidane. I was at the show. Yeah, the second part was more of a very slow and quite ambient part, while in the first part I also played some dub ambient stuff and more rhythmic sequencer-driven music. But the second part I also liked the second part a bit better, I would say. I think this track we are listening to in the background was also part of the second set. Why did you switch the launchpad instead for using push with Bitwig? Well, the thing is, I don't know how to put it, but the script for Bitwig with push is not so good. It has a few things that I really can work with, and so I decided to sell the push because I was just getting frustrated. And this is very the launchpad here is very small. It fits perfectly next to the controller, which I will be talking about a lot today, actually. And so this is the perfect combination for me to control Bitwig instead of having the push. Although I love the push. Even push 3 is a perfect piece of equipment. It's so well built, and I love the pads, and the quality is just insane. But it doesn't help with Bitwig, so I decided to sell it. Hi, Chris. Wo ist Neptune? Yeah, well, Neptune, he was just he was on the table for the last 8 minutes, but now he's somewhere, can't see where, somewhere in the apartment. All right. Let's move the chat window to the other page, and let me start. Here are my notes. Okay, hello again. Little disclaimer at the beginning, this is not a tutorial about Bitwig. If you're watching this video, I assume that you already know Bitwig or have been working with another DAW and can kind of transfer the knowledge from one DAW to the other. The stream is more about some features that I really like about Bitwig and to show you my workflow that I developed with making music, but also playing live, performing on stage or in the studio with Bitwig. And the very first thing I would like to talk about are the device macros. What you see here on the screen is the first part of my last home concert. I just play a few of these clips for you so that you get an idea what's inside there. We have different instruments. We have Zebra. We have, of course, Pigments. Then there is sound from the modular system, which is not here right now, so we can't hear it. And then there is also a little sequence from the Prophet 10 right in front of me here. So that would be one part of a live set that I play. And of course, the most important question for me when I make music in the studio or in a live performance is, how can I control this? And for this, I started using this little device over here. And this is called a MIDI fighter twister. MIDI fighter twister. And I'm using it with a special script from a guy called Dosius, and the script is called Twister Sister. Twister Sister, and with Twister Sister, I can control like everything that I have in Bitwig. It was a real game changer for me. So the first thing you will notice that with this knob, on the top left, I can browse between the tracks. Yeah, you see that I'm not touching the mouse. Mouse is here, keyboard is there. I'm just moving this knob, and I can move in between the tracks, which is really fantastic. But it gets even better. Let's say I have this sequence from the Prophet running, and I want to change the amount of delay. You see that down here I have two devices, and they both have these up to 8 knobs. And with the MIDI fighter, using that knob, I can move in between these devices. So you see that now the left one is highlighted and now the right one. And I could increase the mix ratio or the feedback, the delay. Then I can move to the next one and change the settings of the reverb. I can also, and that is fantastic, click on that button and then the graphical user interface opens. I can then close it again, move to the next one, open this one. So I can basically completely and totally control all devices and everything inside Bitwig. The only thing I need to take care of so that it works smoothly is that I need to prepare these, I would call it device macros. I'm not really sure what they are called in Bitwig. So whenever I say I open a new instrument, let's say Repro 5, you see that already I've mapped my controls. The stuff that I usually would like to control is automatically mapped. And even with that knob, I can move, I can move to different pages. So you see that right now I have controls for the filters and the envelope of the filter. But when I move to the next page, I can control the levels. It's also a bidirectional thing. So whenever the automation or my mouse moves one of the knobs, you can see how, no, you can't because I don't have this one here. So you see how the LED automatically updates. So when I switch to a different page or different device, it automatically maps. So there is no need for any kind of hardwired mapping. It's always automatically working with this script. It's called Twister Sister, in case you forgot. So let's create one of these device macros. For that, I am quickly, I could like do, let me do an empty thing here. I will now take a synthesizer with where I didn't do any device macro mapping yet, so that you can follow along and see how this is being done. So I need to look for a synthesizer with no mapping. Let's take the Korg MS-20. Whoa, that's very big. Maybe I can also make the camera a bit smaller so that we have more space. Yeah, that's good. So this is the Korg MS-20 with a nasty By the way, I forgot to mention, I can of course also control stuff like volume here on Bitwig. So first thing first, I want an init patch by clicking on this little menu, click on new preset, and also say save as opening preset, because I always want to have an init patch when I do something with the synthesizer. How do we do our own device macro? First, we need to click on this little remote control button, and now you see that this is empty. In order for this to work, we need to add a new remote control page by clicking on the plus icon. And maybe we should do it like this and open this remote control editor. You now see that there are two rows, an upper row and a lower row. If you want to have these macros on every preset and on every time you open this plugin, you need to work on the device page down here. This one up here is only for the specific preset. So if you are saving different versions and different patches and you use Bitwig to do all the preset management, you should take the upper row with the preset page. But if you want this to happen on every time you open this plugin, whatever plugin it is, can be an effect or an instrument, you have to be on the device page. Let's open the MS-20 again. And I want to control the stuff that I usually work with on the first page. So I click on the plus icon, and then I click on this little, whatever it is, remote control symbol, and then I move this low pass filter. And from that moment on, I can, with my controller, change that value. I also want to have the resonance. I also want the amount of how much the envelope affects the filter, and also I need the ADSR of envelope 2. So with these little things assigned, I can already start to create a sound. Opening the filter a little bit. Like that. But the nice thing is, we should label this maybe filter, because everything here affects the filter. It also looks a bit funky, so I can double click and rename it. And put in some stuff that I can read. And then we can open a second page. And maybe on that one, I want to control the oscillators. So I click on maybe VCO level, then oscillator 1 waveform, pulse width, and the scale. And do the same thing for oscillator 2. Let's do some labeling. VCO. And that would be waveform, pulse, and scale. And here we have VCO2. That should be VCO1, of course. Why didn't it save? You have to press enter. Here it's pitch for, no, it's also waveform, and then it's pitch. And then again, scale. With that being done, I can improve my little patch that I made by moving to the second page. increase the volume of oscillator 2, change the waveform. Let's do it the other way around with that one lower. Now I want the pulse on that one. It's also worth mentioning that if you move that knob, you see that the function is changing quite rapidly. But if you click here once, you have some like fine-tuning control. So if you want to make a nice detune sound here with those two oscillators, it's very nice that we have this fine control. It's a very good feel to it. And if you want to more drastic, you click it again, and then you have like the full range. All right. That was a quick demonstration of how I create these device macros. Now I need to click on Save and Apply. And nothing else needs to be done. It's not necessary to save this as a device rack or instrument rack or whatever. You can just close the editor. I kill this one and open it again. And hopefully we will have, where is it? MS20. And then we automatically have the same controls that we just made here on the controller. Isn't that great? Yeah, that was part one. Let me have a look in the chat if we want to, if there are some questions to be answered. Thank you for your kind words. Twister Sister, yes, that is the actual name of that script. The script for the MIDI fighter Twister is called Twister Sister. Not Twisted Sister, but Twister Sister. Very funny joke, but I think the guy who made it thought it was funny. What did you do with the sound? I got louder and clearer. I don't understand the question. Is the sound good or not? I hope it's good, because I didn't watch the chat for quite a while. Does it follow if you select with the mouse? Yes, it does. It always follows to the right thing. So if I have, let's open another plugin, let's say a reverb. Have a look on that one. When I click with the mouse on another device, it immediately jumps to that one. So you can either select the device with the MIDI fighter, you see, left, right, or with the mouse by clicking on the mouse on the device, and then you have also the device selected. So both ways are possible to do. How did you move to the next page of the same device? With that button. That button, which is not visible on camera. Neptune, you need to go away. It's yeah. Neptune is sitting on the with this one. So that one. With that one, you can move from one page to the other page. Okay. So it's the second button in the second row. Yes, yes, of course. It's always possible to have multiple controllers at the same time. I didn't want it to make it too complicated in this live stream, but I can tell you that in during my live concert that I played on Friday, I had the MIDI fighter and I also had another device. And of course, you can hardwire MIDI controls with another MIDI controller. That's definitely possible. Yeah, modulators will be another topic for today. So, yeah. Last question before I go to the next topic. What functionality does the script add over using the twister natively? I'm not sure if there's a native support for the twister. Is it? That would be something I didn't even consider. Let me have a look if it's possible. Add controller. DJ Tech Tools. Oh, it's interesting. I have no idea. I didn't even try. I don't know. I think when I got into Bitwig, there was no native support for that one. So I was always going with the Twister Sister stuff. Very interesting. I should have checked this out before. Thank you. I will check this out at another time. All right, where's my note sheet? Here it is. The next starting of part 2 of this one. Today, after having some tea, I would like to talk about the modulators. What are modulators? You probably know that each stuff that is happening here in Bitwig can be modulated with an LFO or an envelope or something else. Let me demonstrate this by loading maybe a pad sound on the Mini Freak. Why not that? This is a simple pad from the Mini Freak that I created using the Mini Freak. There's I think 2 oscillators, as you can see. And let's say I have this reverb here. Which creates this shimmer effect. But maybe I want the shimmer effect to fade in and fade out all the time. And this effect doesn't have any LFO. So what I could do is I can open this little symbol, I'm not even sure what I should call it, and click on the plus sign and open something like an LFO. That LFO could be then routed to, let's say, the feedback. Of course, this is a bit too fast, so I could make it much slower, also change the slope a little bit. And now, while I play this patch on the Mini Freak, you see how the feedback opens and closes for me, right on its own. Of course, I can still change the value because it's always a relative modulation, not an absolute automation. Now this is too much, I think. That would be one example for a modulator. Also, it's very nice to expand the possibilities of a synthesizer. Let's take Repro 1 and record a short sequence. Why don't I have a metronome? So that is Repro 1. Oh, that was the wrong page. Yeah. I want a second oscillator. And of course, I also need some delay. And a reverb. All right. Repro 1, Pro 1 emulation. I want to have a different value of the cutoff frequency with each node that is being triggered. This is something that is not possible because Repro doesn't have a random generator. So what I do is I go to my modulators and click on my presets, and there's something in the browser called random. In order for this to work, I need to set the trigger mode from free to node. Restarts every time a new node comes in. And this one then will be routed to, where is it? To the cutoff frequency. And you see how this cutoff knob is now jumping around. Of course, I could increase the effect to be more drastic. Yeah. We could also take another random guy, set it to node, and route this to the decay time of the filter. Or make something very interesting by adding a new node. We could tune up the second oscillator a fifth, and then route this to the volume of oscillator B. So every now and then we have a second node. Yeah? This is something that the Pro 1 or the Repro 1 could not do on its own. So with the modulators in Bitwig, I can expand the possibilities of a synthesizer like this. And now comes the real cool part. Let me switch to the other camera. I have my Prophet here, Prophet 10, OV6, and yeah, stuff on the table. And of course, it's possible to do the same thing with hardware instruments. I made presets for my hardware synthesizers. In order for this to work, you need to make sure that you have the correct MIDI inputs and audio inputs in this hardware instrument device. It's if you do it on if you start from scratch, you need to look for something called hardware instrument. Yeah, that one here. And then you need to assign all the inputs and outputs. This is not working if you have patched all your instruments into a hardware mixer and then put this mix bus into Bitwig. It's only working if you have a dedicated input on the audio and MIDI side for each one. So now I can let me have a look at my patch sheet. I want to do it with this one. So this is now a sound from the Prophet here, my hardware synthesizer. And I want to record a sequence here as well. Why is there no metronome? I need to do it again. The metronome is off. Let's copy the effects from the other one. Yeah, that's nice. Here on this hardware instrument, you can open a page called Note Effects, and there you can add a device called MIDI CC. MIDI CC. CC means control change. Controller change? Is that controller command? I'm not even sure. Whatever. This is the MIDI CC module that I already saved with my preset. And as you can see, I labeled it with some stuff that I can now change on the Prophet. You always need to have a look in the manual or look it up online, which MIDI CCs are doing what. There are a few things that should be like standard on all synthesizers, but they gave up on that long ago. So you need to look that up with each and every synthesizer. With the Prophet, for instance, MIDI CC number 73 is controlling the filter. So when I have my sequence running, I can either change the filter here on the Prophet, on the hardware, or use this knob. It does exactly the same. It just sends the MIDI data from here through the interface into the Prophet. And I could also take my random generator, set it the trigger mode to note, and route it to the filter. And now have a randomly triggered change of the filter frequency each time a new note is coming to the MIDI input. Also, we could do something. No, that's not too complicated. There is like a step sequencer somewhere. Where is it? Yeah, that's good. Let's do it to 4 steps and have one peak here. And that could be changing the resonance for us. It's not really working. Why isn't it working? Yeah. Now it's working. So you see there are like endless possibilities again to expand the possibility of a synthesizer with modulators. And that can be a hardware synthesizer, a software synthesizer, whatever. And this is a really cool way to improve your setup with stuff that you already have. Because I mean, the Prophet is a fantastic synthesizer, but it has only one LFO. and you can't even patch the envelopes to a lot of destinations. You can set the envelopes to modulate the frequency of the oscillator, but that's it. So with these modulators, you can do a lot more with the synthesizer than before. I think this is cool. Let's have a look at the chat. Maybe there are some questions to answer. Yeah, Odo is absolutely right when you say that that the clap remote pages. Yeah, there are a lot of synthesizers with presets for the remote pages, but of course, I like to have my own remote control pages, because maybe I want other parameters to be controlled than the developer. I missed to say hello to Pat. Hello, State Azure. Nice to have you here today. Okay, so where have we been? Hello, hello, hello. Yeah, they're not really questions. So you're either doing something completely different right now and not following, or I explained it in a way that there are no questions left. Yeah, just kidding. Synchrotron says so much great free stuff, you don't really need a budget these days. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's true. With alone like Bitwig or so, some stock plugins, you can do amazing things already. Absolutely. Yeah, what was the next topic I prepared? Let me have a look. Okay. I see what's coming now. Let me delete everything that I had made before and start with another hardware synthesizer. The next topic is getting a bit complicated. This is definitely not the beginner stuff I'm talking about now, but I hope that you will follow along and find some useful information in here. I try to show you some advanced tricks for arranging different sounds, different patches for a live set. And this is usually the main problem when you do something, you have one track and then you want to play a complete different track, and you're kind of stuck in between and you don't know how to make the transition from one track to another track. Of course, in a live situation, you don't want to have a 2 minutes break and click with the mouse on 20 different things. So let me take the Prophet again, just because it's right in front of me. And let's pretend that we have made the first part with the sequencer sound of the Prophet. Maybe something like this. This is nice. Let's record a little sequence here. I want to add some delay. And also a nice reverb. I think I made a nice preset for the shimmer. That could work with this one. Also, I noticed that this is very quiet, so I will use a tool to boost the overall volume of that patch. So just to explain it again, we are now listening to the Prophet 10 with patch number 236. This will be important later. Then I take the Oberheim OB6, which is sitting right next to me to the left. Can you see it? Yeah, that is the OB6 over here. And here I would like to use this sound. Do I? Yes, this is very nice deep bass sound. Maybe I add some notes here. Of course, we need to have some effects here as well. Bring the filter down a little bit. Okay, for the sake of demonstration, let's pretend that I add a few more instruments, a few more tracks, and then I have something that I would start a live set with or whatever. Then, in the second part of my live performance, I want to have a completely different patch with different effects, but also with the same synthesizer. So I need to find a way to quickly switch between two sounds and also two sets of effects. There is a way how this can be done. It's a bit complicated to prepare, but once it's prepared, it's literally one button to press and then everything changes automatically. Before I create the second sound, I need to save some of the stuff that I did here. I add something which is called effect selector. And when you open this effect selector, you can select a few other devices and drag them in here. It's like a rack for effects. I also want good labeling, so I call this part 1. Also, the first scene should be labeled in the same way so that I know later that this is like the same corresponding stuff. Then I also want the Prophet to automatically switch to the right patch. In order for this to work, I open this node effect stuff where my MIDI CC is, but it's not really necessary. I delete it for this demonstration. In the node effects thing, it needs to be there, not in another place. Otherwise, it will not work in the end. We add something called MIDI program change. And now I have to take a very deep breath because Bitwig made the MIDI program change module in a way that it's not really useful as it is. It's tough to say, but it's not working. Why? Because usually with any other devices like a hardware sequencer, like the Digitakt, or old computer systems, even the Atari computer with Creator or later Cubase, would be possible to attach a MIDI program change command to a node in a MIDI clip like this, or attach a MIDI program change to a clip. So what I want is I will have two clips later. Let's say this one is going for patch 236, and that one should be, where is it? 222. And what I want is I want to launch the clip and then have the program change going automatically. And this is something that Bitwig cannot do. If you think otherwise, please record a video and send it over. I will pay you, not sure. It's not working. I talked to Bitwig and they kind of made an excuse why it would not work, but it doesn't. So just quickly, I need to dial in the correct number. Let me zoom in here on the Prophet so that you can see that there is a number here. And in order for this to work, you need to deactivate those two guys and then change also the bank. And then it's like a little guessing game. Ah, that was close. Okay, so I have a complete different patch, right? And then I click on Send Now, and then this patch is switching over here. Let's say in the next one, I want to have a pet sound like this. Different sound. So I would need a different program change. Let's say 222, that would be this one. No. That one. 10. Okay. Let's record some notes here. This is clipping because of the tool that I added. Okay, that should be 222. What's possible is to go into that page and click on the automation stuff and do this here. Patch number 10. What was that? 22. And now please have a look what happens on the Prophet. I start this clip, the first one. And the patch doesn't... okay, sorry, I forgot I need to click on auto send. So, right, it changes perfectly. Now I go to the second clip. And then it changes. Wonderful! Problem solved! No. Because, see what happens when I stop that clip. When I stop this clip, yeah, it jumps back. That's the problem, okay? So it works. I have this patch assigned to that clip. And this one attached to this clip. But when you stop the clips, the synthesizer jumps back to a different patch. And this was literally a problem which held me back from using Bitwig for over 2 years. But I have a solution, and I show this solution to you now. Sorry for this part being so long, but we are now quickly approaching the solution. So how do we do this? We deactivate all this auto-send stuff. We also should delete all the automation. I think that, yeah, it's already deleted because I made a new one. So this one was like 22. And this one, yeah, and this one was, I think, 16 or so. No, 12, 10. Yeah. So with this first device, I can now change to the first patch, and with this one to the second patch. Okay, it's going back and forth. And I want this to go kind of automatically. So I'm clicking on this little icon here and click on this Send Now button, and then I press 1 on my keyboard. On this one, I press 2 because this first one is for track 1 and this for track 2. So now with the button of my keyboard, I can switch in between, and I can start and stop the clips and nothing changes automatically. Part 1 of the advanced MIDI trickery. Now comes part 2. I already mentioned that I need different effects for the second sound, because the first sound really works well with this effect chain. But for the second sound, it doesn't really work, because there's some clipping going on, and I want a complete different reverb. So what I do is I click on the plus icon, maybe take my supermassive endless delay patch, and on top of that another supermassive reverb. So it should be a massive... Ah, of course I need to activate this one. Yeah, that is nice. And of course this should also be automated with my keyboard. So there is a way. There is this wrench icon or whatever. No, I think it's a gear. Yeah, it's a gear. And you can set this to program change. And then we need to put another 2 program change things before that effect selector. We take one here. You can copy it. And what happens now is that program change 1 selects the first row of the effect selector, and program change 2 selects the second one. The great thing is, and this is really, really fantastic, if you play something here, let's say on the second patch with this endless reverb, and then you switch to the first one. Ah, I forgot to MIDI map this. And you switch to the first one. Still, the reverb tail or delay tail from our effect slot 2 completely fades out in a nice way. Yeah, this is very, very cool. You can have your sequence running here. And then I switch over to the second one. I have this endless reverb from Valhalla Supermassive and can go back to a different sound and different effect settings just with one button. It's almost like having a B-Timbre synthesizer now. It's all coming from the Prophet, but by quickly and conveniently switching in between these effect settings, yeah, it kind of works. Last remark on this, these numbers here on the keyboard can of course go for other tracks as well. So here on the next track, on the OB6, I could do the same thing. I could add some program change modules here again. And I could also assign this to my numbers that I already have. And if you pay close attention, oh, I think I need to move the camera a little bit so that you can see both the numbers. Have a look at those 2 numbers. With one button pushed here, I can change the sounds on both synthesizers at the same time. And that could go for like all synthesizers in the whole studio. So if you're watching my home concerts and you ask yourself, how is it looking so easy? How are the transitions made? It's always a lot of preparation with stuff like this, with like automation of the program changes, automation of the effects. So I don't want to, in a live set, I want to focus on playing the synthesizers. I want to focus on making the music, and I don't want to search for patches or look up some effect settings. I just want this to go automatically. And this is the way how I do it. Of course, this could also be done with a MIDI controller. I decided this because it's like very convenient to have the numbers from like 1 to 8 or to 10. But it could also be another MIDI controller where you push one of the encoders. You could also map it to a keyboard. Yeah, it would be possible to say with the lowest 5 keys of my Waldorf Iridium, I can switch the patches of other synthesizers. It's all like MIDI learn and no problem for anything. Yeah, let's have a look at the chat if there are some more questions. I first have a look if there are some questions about the last topic. Oh yes, Bitwig also doesn't do this X. Yeah, I don't understand this. I mean, they are not giving MIDI, the MIDI protocol, the importance that it has. I mean, MIDI was invented in 1983 by Dave Smith, and there are millions of devices, and they all speak MIDI, and it would be so great to have like a very good MIDI implementation. But I think today it's not so cool. I mean, you cannot sell an upgrade for your DAW by saying, "Hey, we now support SysX." So instead, they focus on developing some fancy new instruments, which I would never use. Yeah, that's a bit sad, I think. The question from Kevin is: so are you working around Bitwig's support for SysX? Well, the problem is, of course, you can. I mean, standard MIDI CC is faster than SysX, but there are devices which can be controlled with MIDI CC. So let's, for instance, I have the Oberheim Matrix 1000 in the rack, and there are a lot of parameters which only respond to SysX. So what I showed you with the MIDI modulators, it would not work with the Matrix 1000 because it doesn't respond to MIDI CC, only to SysX. So yeah, but that's a very complicated topic. It's very, very complicated. Okay, so what are there some other questions? Steve wants to know: are you still using your Mac Mini? Yeah, of course. I'm not sure if you can see it right there. No, you can probably not. So yeah, I'm still running the whole system on the Mac M1. Not even Pro or Max, it's just the first model that came out. It's very fascinating to see such a powerful system because I'm doing my whole music production, live streaming, camera stuff all on the same computer, and also broadcasting to the internet. It's really strange. I could have a look at some statistics right now. So with what I'm doing right now, you see that I am just using about 60%, 50% of my CPU. And of course, OBS is taking up a lot. So Bitwig is just running at below 10%, and the streaming is doing like almost 80% right now. That's quite a lot. Also, the memory is still good. We have still 5 GB free. I got the 16 GB version, so yeah, that's still fine, I think. But with the CPU, there could be more headroom, but I don't have problems with that. Yeah. How do you change presets on the Iridium? Well, it's like the same thing. You first need to go on. Well, I could do a quick thing about this. I just need to set up the camera. Wait a second, please. Ah, I caught myself in the chair with the cable. Here it is. Okay, so if you're wondering what I'm doing, the question was, how do you change presets on the Radium with MIDI? And it's more like more like the same, because this is the Iridium, and there are a lot of patches here, much more than you could possibly address with 128 MIDI change parameters. So you need to go on that performance page, and there you have different sets of sounds. And you need to add these sounds to one of these sets. You can do it by going to any of your patches in the patch browser, and then you have to click on favorites, and then you have your different sets, and then you could click on add. And after you did that, I mean, it's not happening because it's already there. So let me add this one. And then on the performance page, you can go on the set, and then you see the program names here. And also you see that there's a little MIDI number. So this one is called 101. And if I would then make my program change to 101, it would change to that one. So it's a little bit of preparation before. All right. I think I will wrap it up for tonight. It was a little bit of like a freak session where I addressed 3 very specific topics, but it took me quite a while to figure that out on Bitwig, and it was such a game changer for me to work with these little things happening in Bitwig, that I thought it would be maybe valuable for you to also learn something about this. I know that there are like a million of other things in Bitwig which I didn't address today, like the grid, which I never used before, to be honest. I'm so focused on transferring my workflow to Bitwig right now that I just try to do all the stuff I did before, but in Bitwig, but I didn't go into the grid yet. So I'm not sure if, what's going on there. But I know that you can do amazing stuff, and there are a lot of good people on the internet who also helped me going to Bitwig, who made great tutorials and videos about stuff in Bitwig. All right. Next week we will have part 1 of my concert that I played on Friday, 2 days ago. And the week after that we will have part 2. So 2 weeks of new music videos for you. And after that, I think I will do some more live streams about some topic. Maybe we will do Mini Freak only session where I design some patches with the Mini Freak, or something completely else. You can always put your wishes into the comments under that video, so that we can that I can know what people would like to see and then decide for the next stream. So thank you very much for tuning in tonight. Thanks a lot for your support, and see you next time.